don't go to school and I kill people. Whatever. I do what I want.
What's up, everybody? I'm Metal Nick,
I'm Jeff Grindstopper.
and welcome to episode number 98 of Vinyl Bang.
98. Dude,
Yeah,
that's one
dude.
of my favorite numbers. 98.
Yeah, year
Yep.
you graduated, right?
Year I graduated. That's
I know
right.
you tell me this whenever you get numbered things. You like that number. That's awesome.
Mhm.
98. Jesus, Jeff, we gotta think of something quick here because we're rolling on 100 soon, and we don't have a guest or an idea or anything. So
Ugh, man,
times are
pressure.
rough. The holidays are around the corner, and yeah. Anywho, uh, today's episode is whatever. I do what I want. Um, this is dealer's choice number 3, right?
It's something like that. 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
something like
folks. We're losing. We lost track because we're laughing at South Park references here.
that. Yeah.
Yes, this is another episode where Jeff and I just talk about whatever the fuck we want. We just we love South Park. We're gonna fucking make silly, stupid jokes all we can and crack each other up at least, right? um,
That's right. It's fun.
let's not lollygag anymore here. Jeff, you can go ahead and start things out today.
Um, okay, we'll go ahead and start with whatever we want. I don't even know what to start with here. I think I will start with a band that has never been brought up by Nick or myself or any of our guests on our show. I'm going to talk about an album from a hardcore grindcore band called The Secret. The Secret. This is their Salve et Coagula album. This was released by Southern Lord in 2010. This album is 15 years old. What an album, dude. Like, I don't remember how I came across these guys or what prompted me to start to listen to them. I don't know if it was like a Facebook group or whatever it was. But they are very much along the lines of like Trap Them. I believe I've also heard them affiliated with Fuck the Facts, inadvertently here and there. But what an album, dude. This album is, and I don't think I've really heard anything else from them. But Salve a Coagula is phenomenal. I've got 2 or 3 different pressings of these, and dude, these go for like 60, $70 on Discogs, which I didn't
Nice.
expect that at all. But this is my
Gold.
marbled gold
Okay.
kind of colored. But
Yeah.
I've got a clear, I've got a black 180 gram, several different pressings of this album, and it's rad, dude. I saw them back in 2012 or 12 or 13 in St. Louis, and phenomenal band, phenomenal show. Awesome album. If you're unfamiliar with The Secret and you like the hardcore, grindcore mix up genres, then that album's rad. I definitely highly recommend it.
Mr. Grindstoffer, I'm very happy that you brought that band up for several reasons. I remember in the early days of you and I with our little pissing contest of posting records on Facebook all the time. You used to post that. You posted quite a few copies. I remember the clear pressing of it,
Mhm.
and I always looked at it, and I never really read your caption to see what band it was or anything like that. But I always remember that cover just looking so cool. And then this was the summer of, I believe, 2012, and it was the last metal show that happened at Sonar before they closed it down and started to renovate it and turn it into what it is now. But it was in a small room, and it was Black Breath and The Secret. And I remember like watching them, being like, "Man, this is that band that Grindstoffer is always talking about." And they have that buzzsaw guitar tone that I really like. That like bands
Mhm.
like Entombed and Dismember and Black Breath has it. Um, they were fucking awesome. I remember watching them and be like, "Yeah, I can see why Jeff fucking bought this record and I digs it. Like this band's fucking great." Same deal. Never really. I didn't really follow up though. I should have, but I think you and I talked about this once. They're from Spain.
It's somewhere overseas. Yeah, I don't want to get the
Okay.
country wrong, but yeah, they are an international band.
Well,
Yeah.
awesome fucking band. They were incredible live, and I was like, cool. This is good shit. I can see why Grindstoffer bought like 8 million pressings of this record. Um, Also, the fact that I'm happy you brought that up is because they just recently announced the Southwest Terrorfest lineup, and I believe that's what it is, or Northwest Terrorfest. Black Breath is reuniting, and I'm
I
fucking
saw that.
so
Yeah.
stoked. Somebody reached out to the Death Fest dudes in the chat and said, in the message board thing there, and asked about like, what about getting them to replace some band? And Ryan is an awesome guy. I'm going to say that he quoted. I'm going to paraphrase what he said, but basically, the Southwest Terrorfest appearance is apparently their only appearance according to that festival, and we're going to respect that.
Hmm.
So maybe next year, 2027 Death Fest, they'll Black Breath will be on. Hopefully,
Hopefully.
I fucking you know what that band means to me. I've talked about them countless times on this show,
Sure.
and just that box set came out last year on Record Store Day, and I'm just you know man, I'd love to see those guys again because I only got to see them play two songs off of their final album, Slaves Beyond Death, and
Hmm.
they were supposed to come through with Decapitated, and then they dropped off on that tour before it started, I believe. And yeah, man, it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
I'm
Eli
I'm
passed.
glad they're getting back together. Hopefully they make new music
Yeah,
and tour and all that. And I'm
absolutely,
stoked for you.
for sure, for sure. Thank you. I am stoked
Mhm.
for me too. All right, let's uh let's take it back to '79. You know where that quote's from, buddy?
Take it back to '79.
Yeah,
No,
it's from a great album that came out in the year 1997. I'm talking about the double LP Wu Tang Forever.
nice.
And this I don't know if I've talked about this on our show yet, but this was my favorite Wu Tang album. I love 36 Chambers, but I felt this one was produced a little bit better. It was a little all over the place, but it was still fucking great. It had that Wu Tang touch that the 36 Chambers had, but like and introduced Capadonna to the mix. This album came out in 1997. I remember seeing them late in that summer of that year with Rage Against the Machine in Columbia, Maryland. It was fucking incredible. Um, this is a 2014 movie music on vinyl pressing. The original pressing was on Loud Music. I don't Loud. Yeah, was it Loud Music? Yeah. Anyways, um, music on vinyl press. It is out of 2500. If you can see it or not. No,
Yeah. Oh, the gold. Yeah, yeah, the stamp. Yep,
yeah.
1300. Nice.
And as if you didn't know, this is their sophomore album. I could have talked about this on our sophomore albums episode, but their second album. But they went big. It was a double album. So when that's a double album, what does that mean? Uh, there are four records in here. I'm not going to pull them all out, but they're all on clear vinyl. Looks fucking
Hmm.
ill as shit. Uh, comes with the sheet, just like the CD booklet had. I remember having the CD booklet when I was a kid. Like I loved Wu Tang when this album came out. I was a huge fucking fan of it. I remember a lot of people skipping school to go out and get this album. But this is one I don't know if I ever talked about this on our show or not. Did I? I might have done it on the hip hop episode. I don't know, but like this was a cool record. I
Hmm.
remember when it came out, like everybody was just in love with Method Man at this point. He was by far the big one, and so same with ODB. I think shortly after this, maybe the next summer, Ghetto Superstar came out, which I heard Praz tell a funny story about that one recently. But great album. Like I said, this is my favorite one that Wu Tang did. That let's take it back to '79. That was ODB in the beginning of Triumph, the first
Nice.
single off this record. So
Yeah.
yeah, Wu Tang Forever, the second album by the nine-member hip hop group from Brooklyn.
That
They're
sounds right.
they're from all over New York. They're from all over the boroughs. That's
Right.
all I know. So,
Right. Right.
um, but yeah, an incredible record that I've always cherished a lot. I remember one time, I'm not gonna say who, but I posted this once on my Facebook page, on my Facebook, and somebody made a comment. You'll never see that in my collection. Some like stubborn metalhead, and I was like, damn, dude, you didn't have to comment that, but that's fine.
That's
If you didn't
silly.
like it, just don't comment. But Me personally, I love me some Wu Tang. They're a great
Mm,
fucking group. And uh, speaking of Method Man, did you know he was on HBO's The Wire?
killing me. You and your digs. Dude, when I watched that show, I got through like a season and a half, I think, and I just
I
never
can't believe
finished
that,
it.
man. Like
I'm
if you went back,
sorry.
if you
I'm
go back
sorry.
and like really pay attention, you'd be like, holy shit, this show is so good. But
Uh,
I'm telling you, it's there are some stuff like I remember the first time I watched it, I didn't like the second season very much, and then I've watched it now for maybe the fifth time, and the second season's actually kind of one of my favorite seasons because it's important. There's some
mhm,
characters in that second season that are really like a big deal, and they come back later on in the series, and they're just that's what that show is all about, the
yep,
connections. But
yep.
you know, Baltimore, love it. Just went and saw Ulcert there a couple of weeks ago. It's a phenomenal show.
We need to talk about that. We need
We
to talk
do,
about
we
that
do.
after we get done because I never asked you about it, but
Oh man, see that
not
drummer,
during the show.
that
We got,
drummer, man. I
oh,
know.
dude, yeah, I know. So up next, just real quick. Earlier, like during my first album, I noticed that I had a poster that was backwards. That was a Christmas gift that I got from my buddy Jamerson. It's an Army of Darkness poster that was given to me as my Christmas gift, and it was framed and everything. So I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude, that's awesome." I don't know where the hell I'm gonna put it, and my wife is really excited that I've got this like 4 foot poster. I've got to figure out where to put. Anyway, moving on. Second album. Second album on this episode is from a band that we don't talk about enough on this show. I'm going to talk about Pig Destroyer, their Head Cage album, the latest album from the band. Um, I don't feel like this album gets enough attention, dude. It's a good album. There are not as many blast beats, and I believe that was a lot of people's gripes about this album. Um, but it's still, dude, it's a solid album. Dark Train, Army of Cops, Circle River, The Torture Fields, dude. It really is a great album. Mount Skull, the last song, House of Snakes. I listened to this for the first time in a while, like a couple of weeks back, and I was just like, man, why don't we ever talk about this album on here? This is, of course, the last album to feature Blake Harrison. Rest in peace.
Hmm.
Blake Harrison forever. This is the most, aside from the clear, this is the most rare copy. This is the milky clear with black pinwheels, limited to 100. And out of all of the pressings that I have, which I have all of them except for the test press, I never got the test press, and that'll probably happen one of these days. But like I dug this one out specifically to showcase on the show just because it is the most rare and very cool copy to have. Very cool album, very cool copy, pressing, and I'm excited for new Pig Destroyer material. If anybody from the band is watching, you need to get on that, Scott Hall.
Yes, yes. We're gonna hold you to your little text message you sent to Jeff there, sir. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
kidding. Um,
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to let that
I,
down.
I can tell you one reason why we don't talk about that album very much, but it's fine. Everything is great about that album, except for the person who put bass on it. Um, love Blake Harrison, love all those guys, love Scott Hall. Scott is just Scott and Jr. and are just like as a Pig Destroyer being like the two OG guys. Like they've continued this project and they've always just managed to come up with like riffier and heavier shit and like I love what they do. I love everything about those guys. They're very involved with. The main reason why this show is existing, the theme song and the creation of the show. Um,
Hmm.
Nothing but love and respect for those guys. And Adam Jarvis is pretty cool too.
He's okay.
Um,
He's okay.
I fucking love Adam Jarvis. That is one of the
One of the
coolest dudes.
yeah,
Um,
one of the greatest human beings ever. Love
I
that
got a
guy.
great photo of all of us at Slayer, and like I remember him putting his beer on me. I was like, should I just like lean in on him like this? That'd have been the funniest thing ever. But like that dude just man, when you see him, he's just always like ah, and just god damn it, like full life. Love the guy. Can't believe he's fucking Uh, I'm going to see them in a couple of weeks. I can't believe. Yeah, it'll be a couple of weeks, about a month. So yeah, it's been a minute. I haven't seen Pig Destroyer perform since Chicago, Detroit.
God, when was the last time I saw? Was it?
I think maybe no. I saw them at. Yeah, after that I saw them. Did I see them at Black Cat in DC?
Right on.
Yeah,
Right
damn,
on.
that's right. Man, I go to so many shows over the years that I literally forget. I do. I do. I was having this conversation with Lindsay the other night about when was the last time I saw cattle decapitation. So, but we got those two shows mixed up with each other. Anyways,
Mhm.
moving on. We got a show to do here, and we're just bantering to each
Time
other,
for dilly dallying. Come on.
dilly dallying. There you go. Okay. The next thing I'm going to talk about is an awesome band from Baltimore, Maryland. Um, this is something that I keep meaning to talk about, and when we do these episodes, and I mean, when I was picking through Blake's collection a couple of weeks ago, I saw this in there, but like I already owned a copy of this. I'm talking about Baltimore Swarm of the Lotus. Um, this was a really cool. I don't know how to describe it. They were a metal band, but they had a very like heavy and dark 7 string sound. Uh, Pete Matari was like the guitarist singer of this band. He was pretty much like I don't want to say I don't know. I guess he might have been the brains behind this band because like he was the only member that survived. A lot of people kept coming, leaving and going. Pete passed away a couple years ago, unfortunately. Rest in peace, Pete. Um, this was a 7-inch uh, picture disc that Reptilian Records put out called Torrential, and the second track on here is called Ichabod that I love. That's like my favorite track by them ever. And every time I've seen them, they've played that song actually. At one point, my good buddy Jimmy Rhodes joined this band and played drums for these guys. And yeah, I would always tell him, please play that song. Their height of fame, I guess they signed to Abacus Records, and after that, shit kind of fell apart. But they were an awesome band. I remember Guy Coswick from the Red Chord would always wear their shirts on tour, and just a cool band. There's a guy named John McLeod who played drums on this album and played for most of their stuff. John was awesome. He played for a lot of other bands. I think he was in that Quills band with Jason and Evan. Um, let me pull it out. Picture disc, 7-inch.
Hmm. That's
I'm gonna
pretty
send that
cool.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, those those uh those Reptilian records. They come with these little like Obi strips that they make for their picture disc series, like the Macedon one and the Pig Destroyer one, and yeah, just I love this band a lot. 3 songs on there: Torrential, Ichabod, and Withered Am I. Um, Again, Pete, he had a really cool voice. If you haven't heard this band, check them out. Um, they were really cool stuff. They played Maryland Death Fest too, if I remember correctly. And yeah, there are a lot of guys that over the years from Baltimore scene that played in this band. But I always like pointing out my buddy Jimmy Rhodes was in this band for a little while, and that was always a cool thing to me because he really wanted to join this band. He was excited to join this band. I don't think it was quite what he was hoping it would be, but still, Swarm of the Lotus, Baltimore, Maryland. Rest in peace, Peter Matari. Is that how you say it? Uh, he was an awesome fucking guy. I think when Pig Destroyer played those that Baltimore weekend that you came down for, uh, or came up for, I should say, right before they started playing, I remember Adam got up, yelled, "Rest in peace, Pete," and yeah, I think he grabbed the mic from JR and said that. So,
Nice. Yeah.
well,
Right on.
nice, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. I'd say I've never heard this band. I mean, like I've heard of them, but I've never. That's why I was adding them to Spotify to see what they had
check
on there.
check them out. They should have like hopefully they got that 7-inch on there, but I can't remember the name of the album that was on that they put out on Abacus. It had a music video and everything, but they were really cool. I enjoyed
There's
them a lot.
the two albums that are on Spotify. There's the Sirens of Silence and When
Uh-huh.
White Becomes Black.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah. Both of those are damn. I think when White Becomes Black is another 7-inch. I have to check if I have that or not. I thought I do. that I did. But with Sirens is I believe the one that's on Abacus. That's a really cool one. But I think Sirens might be like the 3 or 4 song. It may be EP. I can't remember. But check them all out.
Right on.
Check them out.
Oh yeah.
Let me do that off camera.
I was gonna say mute your mic and do that. Jeez, this guy. All right. Album number three for me is I can't remember how often I've talked about these guys. I know in the very first episode, I talked about this band, and I can't remember how many times I've talked about them since, but it definitely hasn't been enough. Especially since like I own every album that they put out on vinyl, and I just don't know why I've never really talked about them a whole lot. So I'm gonna rectify that with a best of from the Violent Femmes. This is Permanent Record, the very best of the Violent Femmes. It features such hits as Give Me the Car, Blister in the Sun, Kiss Off, Add It Up, Nightmares, American Music, Color Me Once, which was on the Crow soundtrack, which was it's a good song. It's not their best song, but I mean it's it's hard to rank the absolute best. I think Add It Up is probably their best song. But anyway, Color Me Once, Freak Magnet, Country Death Song live in 1998. It's a great collection of Femmes tracks. For those of you who want to dabble in the Violent Femmes but do not want to commit to buying, entire albums, which you absolutely should. They're so good, such a good band. And this was a record store day release on clear vinyl back in. I'm not even going to pretend to remember whenever this came out. Here, I'll just look on the back, and I can't. It says 2005, so that's not right at all. That's not whenever this was released on Record Store Day. But either way, this is again a rad collection for those of you who like their greatest hits and do not want to, as I said, commit to buying complete albums. So, Violent Femmes, Permanent Record, the best of, awesome compilation.
Okay. Um. Cool. Cool. Record store day release. Clear vinyl. Always a good pick.
Yes, thanks.
Alrighty. So next band I'm going to talk about is a band that is they're not forgotten. People bring this band up a lot. They're going to put out a new album soon. Blah blah blah. I know they wrote new music, but I don't think they want to put it out on the label that they were on. In 2004, Relapse Records put out the sophomore record of Necrophagist Epitaph. Um, One of the fucking, I mean, if you're into shredding guitars and fucking just straight up like technical death metal, this is like the pinnacle of what that is. This really is. I mean, I don't know like what better other way to describe it. Um, this is what these guys look like. Stefan here, he shaved his head after a while. These other two dudes, I don't know what happened to them. I think this guy was in Obscura for a minute. Um, yeah, Christian. Um, it says Hannes Grossman on drums, but that's not Hannes.
Mm-mm,
um,
no.
but this is the in 2017 they repressed this album, and like I don't know what happened to me, why I slept on it. But this girl that I used to know, who was fucking awesome, and she bought me this orange pressing, which is only 200 of them are pressed. Uh, Pretty fucking stoked to have it. Like, I think Jeff, you remember pretty clearly when like this band started coming to America on the regularly, especially after this album came out in like '05, '06,
Hmm.
'07. Like people were going nuts for this band. They were, just a big deal. Like this, and then if I remember correctly, after this band, like every fucking band started shredding on guitar. Like
Hmm.
every band, like they all started coming out of the woodworks. And that's not to say that people weren't doing it before, but like still. I also have an OG pressing, but before I show you the color of this OG pressing, let me pull it out here. Yeah, it says Hannes Grossman on drums, but that ain't Hannes. Um, or maybe I'm getting that wrong. Maybe it is him. But there's a different dude that I remember, and I don't think that's him. Anywho, uh, this is a 2004 pressing that Relapse Records put out, and you ready for it, Jeff?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did that. You brought this out in the Clear episode, I thought.
I'm
But I
sure I
was so
did.
jealous.
What is this on my fucking record here? Yeah, I did. I'm sure I did. There's some smoke in it. Looking at it, it's like crazy. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's rad for sure.
this isn't the first time I've owned this. I've owned this once before, and Hard Times fell on Metal Nick, and I had to sell it, and along with the other clear pressing I had of a Necrophagist album, and yeah, years later I got my hands on another pressing thanks to or homies at Relapse. Um, but this is just a really fucking cool record, a legendary fucking death metal album. Uh, I remember when this dropped, people were just freaking out. Well, I have a lot of friends that I was kicking it with at the time that play this album all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
I love Onset of Putrefaction a lot too. That their first one, that one was really cool. But yeah, Necrophagist.
Yeah, I definitely remember whenever they did the first Summer Slaughter with like Cephalic and Cattle and
Hmm.
uh, Despised Icon and just
Hmm.
a killer. What it wasn't Despised. Was it Iron
It
Dissonance?
was decapitated. Eye Dissonance was there. Decapitated,
Mm-hmm.
Cattle Decapitation. As Blood Runs Black.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was like yeah, Cephalic. It was just stacked from top to bottom, and I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, holy shit! Like I didn't want to miss any of those bands that day. It was great. It was great. I remember getting there. I always remember this story. It was like maybe like third or fourth to last date, and it was in Baltimore at Sonar. And my buddy Cliff drove us, and it was his ex girlfriend at the time, this girl Roxana, and we all hopped in her car. Me, Cliff, Roxana, and Travis to listen to some Cypress Hill. And driving home, Roxana was complaining. He's like, "That dude from Cattle smelled like shit." But I was like, you gotta understand, they don't they're not in like a tour bus. They don't stay at a hotel, so they can't shower every night. But like, I thought that was hilarious. And then I remember later that day we were gonna go in Iron Dissonance bus to listen to Cypress Hill, and they opened the doors and like you can get a whiff of it, and she was just like, no thanks. But that's the truth, man. That's the truth. I remember one
Yeah,
time Goat Whore was like, come on in, and I'm like, nope. Those vans are fucking gnarly. They really are,
yeah,
and that's their home, man. That's their home. So,
right.
um,
Life on the road.
yeah, no, for sure. You're up, Jeff.
All right. So
Well,
my next one.
of course, I
Speaking
have
of
technical difficulties there. Go ahead.
yeah, technical difficulties. So my next album, speaking of life on the road, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up this band, which has never, again, it's a first, a vinyl bang first by my co-host or I or any of our special guests. And why, dude? This album is so good. This
We've
is
talked about
the
this on our show.
who did?
You did,
Did I?
yes.
I don't think I can't remember ever talking about. I'm gonna do it again because we all make mistakes. Mine's been captured on camera to be put on the internet that I made a fucking mistake. But anyway, Tenacious D, their debut album.
I think it was the debut albums episode.
Was it?
It might have been. I don't have the book with me, but go on,
This
buddy.
fucking podcast is going to be the death of me. So yeah, just amazing album. It's funny. It's just it's the entire thing is. This is one of the albums I could just listen to from beginning to end, from start to finish with no skips, no nothing. Um, the hype sticker for this, which I put on the back, so it's not like hindering the front artwork, says the 12th anniversary edition, the greatest and best debut album in the world. So awesome album. The track list consists of Kielbasa, the one note song tribute, Wonder Boy, hard fucking, fuck her gently. Dude, it's so good. I could be wrong. I know that Dave Grohl makes an appearance on the drive-through. What's that titled? Yeah, the drive-through track where he's the fast food employee who's talking over the speaker and he's taking the order. But I'm almost positive that Dave Grohl played drums on this album. I want to say, and I could open it and look, but I really don't want to do all that. But City Hall, dude, City Hall is one of the greatest songs ever. It's just so good. Awesome album, awesome. I never really got into the other stuff. I mean, like it just so they're okay, but nowhere near the caliber of their debut
Maybe that was it. I think one of the episodes that Cha gave us might have been like a good hype sticker, and you read that you read off that hype sticker about like the greatest album of all time.
album.
So
That makes sense. Yeah, I do remember that now because you were like, why didn't you, if it says this, why didn't you talk about it for this topic? I do remember that now. That was like 3 years ago.
um,
A lot's
it was,
happened since then. The Cold War and, color television, and I just forgot. Sorry.
all right. Next thing I'm going to talk about is a comedy album, which I believe I talked about this when I bought this album, but I've never really talked in detail about what this album is to me. Mitch Hedberg's Mitch Altogether. This came out in 2004 on Comedy Central Records. Uh, somebody, Comedy Central Records repressed it on vinyl with a box. It's three vinyl, and you get, you know, all three of his. There's Strategic Girl locations and Mitch Altogether, which is
It's
this
all
one,
together,
and Do You Believe in Gosh?
yeah.
Uh, I really only bought this one. I do like the Strategic Girl locations one. That was a cool one. He's got a stand up bass playing in the background while he tells his great jokes. But this album, I remember buying it in like maybe '04. It originally came out in 2003. This 2017 pressing on vinyl, first time pressed on vinyl, came in a box set. You had to buy the box set to get this. Some people were generous enough to break the box set up and sell it on Discogs. That's how I acquired this one. Um, but yeah, uh, I remember listening to this album a lot with a couple friends that I used to kick it with back in 2004. Some people I worked with at this pizza place, and then years later, I started kicking it with my friend Kirsten, and she fucking loved Mitch Hedberg. We used to crack up over some of these jokes. The Saved by the Buoyancy of Citrus, that one, or the I did not know ducks eat for free at Subway. Like this guy, if you don't know, he's just a hilarious comedian who passed away way too soon back in 2005, I believe, and I thought it was a joke because he died on April Fools. He was awesome. He was a very underrated comedian. I guess he had kind of like what would you call it? Self confidence issues. He was kind of like you could tell the way he talked on stage, the way he delivered his jokes, but he was fucking hilarious. And this particular show, he was fucking on. He was on fire. He delivered well. Everything was great. His jokes were great.
Mm.
Even if he didn't like, what was it like? Track number 9 will not be chainsaw juggling. Like it's just like he corrects his accidents a lot. But the reason I like Strategic Girls Locations a lot, there was a lot of great jokes on that one, and he was clearly high as shit on that on that record. But shout out to Mitch Hedberg, rest in peace. Fucking hilarious comedian. There's a couple of these comedy albums that I bought back in the day. There was a period where I was just like straight up just buying comedy albums because that was my thing. That's what I was really into. I had a couple Dane Cook albums. I had that very first one. I met him and he signed it for me. That Dave Attell's Skanks for the Memories. That's probably one of the funniest fucking comedy albums I ever heard. I really hope that gets a vinyl pressing someday, like this did. But again, Mitch Hedberg recipes. I think you bought a couple of these, didn't you?
I got strategic girl locations.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, have you played it ever and just been like, fuck yeah, this is
I played the first disc, I believe, just to hear Mitch over vinyl, but not the whole thing. And I want a copy of that of Mitch altogether. I
It's a
really want
great
that
one.
on vinyl. Yeah.
It's a good one. It's really good. I think he's like way more alive in that one, and just his jokes, his delivery is way like felt like funnier. But again, like I thought Strategic Road Location was still really fucking good.
Oh, and it's unique, with I forget the guy's name. I think it was Steve playing bass the entire time. He even like acknowledges him. He's like,
Yeah,
let's acknowledge the good. It's just it's a cool thing. But one thing about Mitch Hedberg, like I will immediately have a lot more respect for a person if they get a Mitch Hedberg reference.
hmm
Like if
yep.
somebody picks up on an escalator can never be out of order, it can only become
hmm
stairs.
Sorry for the convenience.
Sorry for the convenience. Oh shit, here I've never said in terror. Oh shit, here comes that frog. I better play dead. Just I will immediately have a lot more respect for a person if they get Mitch Hedberg references. So
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Mitch was great. He was a legend. Rest in peace.
mhm,
Um, yeah, good stuff.
good stuff for sure. All right, see if I can not fuck this one up. I don't think we've talked about Intronaut enough. Am I wrong? I don't know if I've talked about them. I don't think I have. I don't know. Maybe I have. In the last episode, I believe I talked about Intronaut. So I really look like an idiot. So I am going to talk about, like, I listened to this album last week or week before, and just, man, this Prehistoricisms, dude, is so good. Any port, just the drums at the end. And I watched them perform this 15 or 16 or 17, whenever it was, whenever they came through. They played at the Firebird in St. Louis. But watching Danny and I can't remember the other guitarist's name, not Sasha. Can't think of his name. Anyway, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry, and I know you'll never do our show now. But watching them do the
You do have the record in
dueling, the
your
back
hand.
and forth drums, so incredible to see live, dude. It was so badass. The literal black cloud, cavernous den of shame, the just the last track, which is a 5 part collection of just different parts. The reptilian brain, the 5 parts are sleep, eat, shit, fight, and fuck. And just man, it's such a phenomenal album. And all of their stuff is great. Null, Void, Valley of Smoke, which features Adam Jones. It just phenomenal fucking band. But Prehistoricisms, dude, this album is extremely underrated, and I had to talk about it on the show just because of how good it is. So
I believe Dave is the other guitarist's name.
Dave Timnick, that's it.
I
Fuck, I couldn't think of his name, dude.
was saying you have the album in your hand.
I know.
Mr. Cypress Hill over here.
This guy.
All right, moving along, Tim. I'm lagging myself here too. All right. The next thing I'm going to talk about in the year 2000, I saw this band open up for Cannibal Corpse. It was the Spring Break Your Neck tour. It was Cannibal Corpse, Dimmu Borgir. They just put out Puritanical, and this band had just put out this album. And the opening band was Lamb of God. They were still basically touring New American Gospel, but this is The Haunted Made Me Do It. The Haunted features the two brothers from At the Gates. I can't remember their last name. Jensen, maybe. Um, I have this record in my hand. I can look it up. There's no slip sheet. Great. Um, yeah, this album was fucking awesome. I remember, seeing it a couple years ago. It was available on Eric was just finally starting to repress all those great albums that came out like 20 years ago, and this was certainly one of them that I absolutely love. Maybe you can see the cover's got a bunch of like serial killers, like mug shots and pictures on the front. But I always thought this album was really cool. The first track is called Dark Intentions, and it's kind of like it's an instrumental. And I remember there used to be a commercial on Comedy Central for that shit with the robots. I don't remember what it was called, Robot Wars maybe, but they used that song in there, and I always thought that was kind of cool. Bury Your Dead, Trespass, Leech, Hollow Ground, Revelation, The World Burns, Human Debris, Silencer, Under the Surface, Victim Iced. I gave a spare copy of this that I got. They sent me two copies for some reason. I don't know why, but I gave one. I traded one of them with Adam Jarvis for
Yeah, I remember that.
some stuff. Uh, Boom, there you go. It's a clear with blood splatter. The repressing came out in the year 2023. There are only 300 of these pressed. I think this is the Haunted's best album. You can argue with me what if you want. I don't care. Um, yeah, fucked up shit there on the back. Um, but yeah, this was a cool record. I thought I don't really they toured a lot after this. They played a Death Fest a couple years ago. They're from Sweden, so we've talked about this recently. How Swedish bands are fucking great. Those are a Swedish death metal band that they were fucking awesome. Still a band, I believe. Um, but yeah, Haunted made me do it. Splatter vinyl.
Are they
Yeah,
still a band? Are they still doing stuff?
I believe so. They change singers a lot. I don't know if like the same drummer and bassist are in the band. I know it's the same two guitarists, but like they, there's like a Swedish musician trade up there. It's all like government funded, so they all kind of just like ugh, I'm done here. You can have Jonas now or whatever. And somebody big steps in and just knows the shit already. And they're already like, well, I already know how to write music, so let's just fucking write a new album, And like that's how it works in Sweden.
I guess that does make sense.
Um, oh, you muted yourself because you're coughing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right, Mr. Polite. So,
Not coughing into the microphone. That's silly. So was this number six?
yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one, kids, is very important. So if you've been fucking around this entire episode and you haven't been paying attention, now is the time to stop what you're doing and listen because this one is a good one. This is a good one. This is okay. Let me start off like this. Since 1988, everybody that's ever heard this album has heard it not incorrectly, but not the right way. Like it always should have been different. This album should have been produced differently. It should have been released differently. It should have been done all these, it should have been better. Should have had more punch to it. Should have had more punch to it. So somebody took it upon themselves years ago. Actually, I think it was like 20 some odd years ago. I think it was whenever I was still on the on the Lamb board that somebody released um, like they sent a you send it file or some shit that had this album with bass. 1988, Metallica released "And Justice for All" with no bass, and somebody took it upon themselves to track down the bass tracks or add bass covers or whatever, and released "And Justice for Jason," "And Justice for All" with bass. Dude, this is so fucking good. It sounds so good on vinyl with bass. Um, I did some research to find out exactly like how this came to be, and out of the 9 tracks, eight, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 12. Out of the no 3, 6, 9. Out of the 9 tracks, 5 of them I believe are the actual the actual take that Jason did in the studio. Now how somebody came across these, I have no idea. I don't know. But 4 of them were covers. Somebody else provided the bass for this pressing for this audio. But either way, hearing these songs with bass is, I mean, it really does it justice. There are several different pressings of this bootleg, and the one that I acquired from my friends at Hit Records in Columbia is a purple, almost like a grayish. I hate doing shows at night with this little light, but it's got like some purple splatter in it, kind of like some marble gray black whatever, dude. It just there's like I don't know, like I said, 7 or 8 different pressings of this. And apparently this has been done on vinyl several times throughout the years, and this is the latest rendition, the latest run of pressings, but absolutely worth it. I mean, the pus head artwork that they chose to release this with is completely badass, very reminiscent of the And Justice for All era, the artwork from that period in Metallica's discography, and yeah, just this is definitely a rad addition to my collection. Very stoked to have this on vinyl.
Cool. Yeah, the story I was told back in the day was just somebody just went and played bass over it, read the bass tab book, and just played bass and recorded it and then uploaded the MP3s. So
And that very well could have been. That very well could be the case. And you know, like I say, you don't believe everything you read on the internet, but what I had read is that like 4 or 5 of the tracks were actually Jason's takes from the studio. Again, how somebody came to be in
was that?
possession of those, no idea.
And did you find that information on the internet?
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't trust it, but that is actually what I read, that it was actually Jason's takes. But
I'm fucking with you. All right. Well, cool. That is a really cool thing to have because I love that album and to add bass on it. I mean, like, obviously there's no parts where Jason's like doo 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 like Cliff was or anything, but like
right, right.
especially not till like the next album or so. But still good
Hmm.
to have. It's a unique Metallica bootleg to have in your collection. Unless one day Metallica decides to realize, be like, oh, we're gonna fucking release it, you know.
I was, dude,
Um,
like I was telling Jamerson last night, whenever they did the boxes, you know, the box release for like Lightning and Puppets and all that, I was hoping whenever they did the one for Justice that they were going to like release official audio for their box set of that album, but I don't think they did. It's a
yeah,
shame. Really is a
I
shame that they don't officially release something for that album.
I remember years ago, somebody I don't remember who's this is the MySpace days when you could just post like a YouTube video on somebody's page and you just like scroll by that. But somebody had posted the Injustice for All bass tracks only, and it was like the entire record. And I was like, oh, cool. And I remember it was we were gonna get a job or something, and I had speakers, so like I turned it on, and I remember being like 15 minutes into like doing whatever I was doing, like, where's the fucking music? And, like I went and I was like checking the speakers and everything. Then I put on other music and it was working, and then I realized it was just empty silence because to emphasize that there was no bass on that record. So I was like, God damn it, I fell for this stupid ass trick. I wasted like 15 minutes listening to nothing. Yeah. Um,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, Justice for All is a great fucking record.
Oh, it is. Absolutely.
I can talk days for that album. All right, let's just rifle through this episode. Next thing I'm going to talk about another technical death metal band, also kind of yeah, they came from Germany as well, and Hannes Grossman was actually in this album. I checked it while we were while you were talking there. This came out in originally in 2009 on Relapse Records. I have a 2017 deluxe repress, Obscura Cosmogenesis. Um, this pressing, it's like a silver and blue mergey vinyl. I'm not a big fan of these styles. Like they're great and all, but like not my thing. Like the merge vinyl, I feel like is I love splatter. Just do splatter. Give me a cool splatter. But like that, it came with a slip mat of the artwork, Cosmogenesis. I was listening to this album yesterday when I was driving home from my sister's house, and because I haven't listened to it in a while, it makes me think a lot about this guy Tono that I used to kick it with, and he was the one who played this for me. And Tono was actually when Necrophagist used to would come and tour into the U.S. They used to stay at his house and rehearse for a couple weeks, and then hop on a bus and tour the U.S. and come back to his house for a few days before they hopped on a plane and go back to Germany. Um, yeah, I bought this when they repressed it in 2017. But you know your boy, he's got an OG pressing. Uh, this one I acquired from a good friend that I met on the Mastodon Mayhem page. This is a 2009 pressing, and you know what it is, boy. A clear.
Yeah,
Um,
boy.
always got to wink at Jeff there when we talk about our friends and family version. No, there was a gentleman that I met, and his name is Jeff Kitchener. Jeff had the greatest Mastodon collection on vinyl I've ever seen in my life. I know he recently sold a lot of it because one of his kids is going to college, so that's what he did with the money. He sold a lot of this before Relapse started like going crazy with the test presses and the clears. Like he got rid of all those things, but he had a lot of stuff, box sets, a lot of cool stuff. He sold this to me for pretty cheap. He was a nice guy. He introduced me to a lot of people in that Mastodon Mayhem group, and that's how I acquired quite a few really rare Mastodon test presses before Relapse started selling them on the net. But like I have that Crystal Skull 7-inch test press. I think there's like 5 of those or something out there. But yeah, shout out to Jeff Kitchener. I wish he still had records because he would be an awesome guest on our show. But I scored this clear friends and family pressing from him because somehow that I don't know if that guy worked for Relapse or people at Relapse just gave him free shit all the time. But uh, Obscura, great fucking band. That was probably my favorite album they did. I think there was an album before that and a few albums after that one. That was, in my opinion, their best one. Cosmogenesis is the name.
Cosmogenesis. It's a good album
Really,
for sure.
really cool proggy stuff. I mean, it's just I remember I will tell a couple quick stories. The bassist, Jeron Paul Therison, I believe his name is. He played for Pestilence, and I remember meeting him a couple times when he was in Obscura, but he played a fretless bass, so it's very wah wah wah. And he was really fucking good at it, like finger picked like crazy. He was awesome fucking dude, really nice guy. He at one point did play in I don't know, he was not in Necrophagus, but a couple of those other guys were. But yeah, more of that shreddy stuff. You
Yeah,
ever heard?
fretless
You know what I'm
bases are.
talking about.
Yeah, I do. I do. I
I remember the first time I heard Individual Thought Patterns by Death. I'm like, dude, is this guy's bass like sounds like it's not mic'd right, or it's just like something's wrong with the pedal? And then somebody's like, no, he doesn't have he's playing the fretless bass, man. I'm like, wicked.
do.
All right, last one,
Yes.
Jeff.
Fine. All right. So
Let's get it. Let's finally see it.
get this thing out of the way. So I'm going to stand up for this one. Okay. This one is a very involved thing. So my last contribution to this episode for stuff I want to talk about is the cattle decapitation no fear for tomorrow edition of Death Atlas. This box set, there are 13 of these boxes that exist. There are 13 in existence, only 13. And this thing is made out of, I believe, walnut. I mean, it's a solid fucking box. Um, so opening it up, the cover slides off as such. I don't know if you can. Yeah,
That's incredible. That's incredible. Hold the cover up. Can you hold the cover up since you have it off before you put it down? Hold the cover up. Yeah. Show that. Show that close. That's incredible looking. That is awesome, man.
yeah. The sigil here on the front
Uh-huh.
was 3D printed,
Oh,
and Denise, Travis's wife, did a video where she went through and showed how she did like the bronzing
yep.
and everything. But I mean, it even smells like, dude, it even has that like walnut smell. It just so awesome. So on the front, these things are sealed, by the way. Like whenever you buy them from the merch table, they're sealed. There is this warning thing on the front that says, okay, it says, congratulations, you are now the proud owner of the No Fear for Tomorrow box set. There are only 13 units in existence, and one of them is now yours. There's a beware. The next section says this box set contains 100% genuine organic lava rock that has been bagged for your convenience. For the full intended experience, please carefully open the bag and empty the lava rock directly into the box and place the satin bagged LP on top of it. There's a lot more to it. I'm not going to read all of it. But it has allergy information. It says contains copper. Some humans are allergic to copper, so please do not purchase if you or the intended recipient are allergic to copper alloys. Enjoy, and may you survive everything that's coming, which is, referring to lyrics from the album. There was also a letter or a certificate of authenticity that is it has a stamp with the Death Atlas sigil. the Death Atlas Ouroboros, and it is signed by Travis, Josh, Bell, and Dave. And I have number 9 of 13, which is pretty cool. There's also, and whenever I opened this thing up and took out the pennant, I could not get it to go back inside without trying to stuff it in. I wasn't trying to hurt anything inside the actual box. So this is the pennant that
Hmm.
came with it. I don't know if you can.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's a pennant of the sigil,
You could have held the bag held it in front of the bag. No, that's cool.
and the vinyl itself comes in a satin bag.
Nice.
Yeah,
Sexy.
and I've been working out. Thank you. The the vinyl itself, which I haven't even taken this thing out of the bag. I don't even know if this thing is sealed or what, or if it even comes out of the bag. Good
If
God,
it's
this thing is
Metal
like,
Blades Records, it's definitely sealed.
I'm sure it is, but getting this thing out of this bag is like, I don't want to hurt anything. Good God. This thing is okay, okay, there we go. There we go. So yeah,
Sealed.
so this is
Yeah, I see a
the
sticker.
Bring Back the Plague variant that is sealed and will remain sealed and will remain in this satin bag that will remain in the box. But that's fucking rad. And then, as described, there is a sealed bag of lava rock. It's supposed to be, like the thing says. I guess you're supposed to open this and have the rock, the lava rock, in the bottom of the box, and this thing is supposed to be displayed vertically. You like, because if you take these out, of course they're going to be inside the box, and it's going to leak out or whatever, or hurt the vinyl and all that. So we'll just leave that flat as it is. And yeah, this thing is supposed to be displayed like this, not standing up, because then of course the rock would move. But yeah, this is absolutely one of the coolest cattle decapitation things that I own, of which there are many cool cattle decapitation things that I own. But yeah, this is one of the rarest. Let's see this. Good God. Um, very cool item to have. Very fucking cool item to have. And I'm gonna leave that out. But yeah, 13 of these exist. Very cool to have. No Fear for Tomorrow Deluxe Edition box set for Death Atlas.
Hell yeah.
So
There you go, folks. First
yeah.
time seeing one of those opened in public. um, that's good stuff, man. Yeah, pat yourself on the back there for.
Well, I will once I put this 4 pound fucking box back down. But yeah. Oh, and it sits right next to the rolling tray that my co-host here is. I believe, I still say that you are solely responsible for these rolling trays.
I absolutely am. Anyways, moving on. My
Sorry.
last pick: Circle of Dead Children, Psalm of the Grand Destroyer. This is actually the only vinyl that I have of this band. Unfortunately, I wish I had more. Um, this came out in 2010 on Willow Tip Records. There were 500 pressed. 250 of them were on this yellow with black splatter, but it looks like just yellow with black smoke all over it. And then
Hmm.
there was a red pressing. Um, we've talked about this band a couple times. I think I've asked Jeff to break out his Human Harvest, which is my favorite album by them on vinyl. Um, this is an incredible band from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I love these guys. I love Joe with all my heart. He was a great dude. Um, we hope to get him on our show someday. I know he says he's got a record collection, but he's busy doing stuff. He's busy living life. Um, but this is one of those bands that, again, I cherish this record. It's, like I said, it's the only one that I have of theirs. Uh, that artwork's pretty fucking cool as shit, actually. Look at
Oh,
that.
it is actually. Yeah.
Sword going through the face. Um, yeah, and I believe Steve Austin did this one as well. Produced this album. Steve Austin. Today is the day. Um, but yeah, that is it. There you go.
Awesome
Circle
album.
of Dead Children. Yes.
I'm almost positive I have the red one.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I don't know which
I'm
one you
pretty
have.
sure I do.
Probably the red one. I think I
Yeah.
pre-ordered that online, or maybe I bought it at a show. I don't really remember, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about new records. I'll go first because I only got one to talk about here. I didn't go that crazy this week. I did buy this in a used vinyl group on Facebook, and so glad to finally have this. I saw this like an OG pressing. This is an OG pressing, but I saw an OG pressing maybe a year or so ago, or earlier this year. Me and Shaw went to joint custody in DC, and I saw this, and I was like, "Oh, I just didn't want to spend money on it." But Ozzy Osbourne, "Speak of the Devil." I remember when I was a kid, I used to go into record stores all the time and just look up and down at all the Motley Crue, Metallica. And when I get to Ozzy, I'd always see this cover, and he's just like, fucking freak me out. I'm like, God, this guy really is as fucking crazy as everybody talked about. Um, for those of you who don't know what this is, the deal was, I guess, he was still under contract with Sharon Osbourne's father, who was the manager of, I guess, Black Sabbath and Ozzy. And when Ozzy left Black Sabbath, he put out his first album and then the EP, and then Randy Rhoads had passed away, and Ozzy was bummed out and he didn't really do anything, and he still owed her father one more album, so they recorded this live album, and it was all Black Sabbath covers, and he had Rudy Cesaro on bass, Tommy Aldridge on drums, and Brad Gillis on guitar. Brad Gillis was in the band Night Ranger. Um, but this is a really cool live album that Ozzy did with, you know, what year was this? Maybe 82? Wow. So, yeah, in 82, people were still loving Sabbath stuff. It did a Symptom of the Universe, Snowblind, Black Sabbath, Fairies Wear Boots, War Pigs, The Wizard, Nativity in Black, Sweetleaf, Never Say Die, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Iron Man, Children of the Grave, and Paranoid. Um, yeah, like I said, I was a kid. This cover used to creep me out. I used to see that shit. And what is this dude got coming out of his mouth? Did he just bite another human being, and now he's just spewing out chunks of their body? Who knows? Um, I do know that there is this picture inside of Ozzy and this little dwarf, and I believe the story that I read that Ozzy had named this guy Ronald, as in Ronnie James Dio, because Ozzy still hated Dio for stealing his gig in Black Sabbath. But yeah,
Wow. Yeah,
Ozzy, Speak of
that's
the
a
Devil.
great fucking it's a great album.
Yeah.
A lot of hits.
Oh yeah.
All
Yeah,
the
yeah.
hits.
No, for sure. For sure. Some good stuff. All right.
Ooh, all right, I got a couple to go through. First one, I found this whenever I was in Oklahoma City last week to see Cattle Decapitation. Stopped in at Monkey Feet Records, which was recommended to me by Champ Morgan, who was there the week before. He told me about this awesome record store, so I stopped in and looked through their wares and found a Pearl Jam. What is this called? Completely Unplugged, the acoustic broadcast. So this is their set from MTV and another set from like 1999, several years later. But it is the entire performance whenever they were at MTV Studios, where they have like tuning. Like one of the tracks is Tuning Jam. There were two different versions of Porch. They did a version really early in the set that didn't make MTV. That one was just like a more like upbeat and fun and very jammy thing at the end. Where the one that was displayed or one that was broadcast on MTV was very like angry and mean. And that was whenever Eddie Vedder got up on the bar stool and wrote pro-choice on his arm, and that was the version that got on it. But to hear the original the first time they played it was like, oh, that's cool. I never knew that this version existed. And they also played "Keep On Rockin' in the Free World" at that session. Now, I've never heard them play that song without Neil Young. The only version I've ever heard of that song was with Neil Young at like some MTV Music Awards, I believe. A couple years later, but they were actually on stage with Neil Young playing that song. But to hear it unplugged was awesome. So awesome addition there. Up next is a project from a very, very, very diverse drummer. Plays for a lot of bands. Dirk Verburen is in his one of his brain project is Bent C, which also features vocals by Sven from Aborted and bass by Shane Emery. And man, oh, he did an EP before this that was only released on Bandcamp where he had a different vocalist for every song. One of the songs on this like 5 or 6 song EP is called Nothing Blasts Forever, and the vocals were provided by Richard Johnson. I was like, oh my God, this is fucking incredible. But yeah, Bent C from Dirk Verburen is awesome. Up next is a album that I picked up the other night whenever I got the Metallica and Justice for Jason from Hit Records in Columbia. I got No Means No, their album Wrong, which was introduced to me by Ross. I cannot fucking God. I don't want to mispronounce his last name. Our buddy Rostam, former tour manager for Cattle Decapitation, good friend of the show, good friend of both of ours. Awesome album, and I'm glad I was finally able to find a copy of this because this album always makes me think of him. Up next is a bootleg of a uh, remix CD from Nine Inch Nails following the Downward Spiral album. This is Further Down the Spiral. This is a collection of songs, like different versions of songs from the Downward Spiral that was purchased from Squirrel Records, because I want to try to get this guy on the show if he'll ever do it. But Squirrel Records released Further Down the Spiral, and everything looks official. It looks actually like an actual Nine Inch Nails release. This is Halo 10. It contains like some of the songs include Piggy, Nothing Can Stop Me Now, The Art of Self-Destruction Part 1, The Art of Self-Destruction Part 2, uh, a quiet version of Hurt, and there's other songs that are actual songs that weren't like remixes from the album called At the Heart of It All, The Beauty of Being Numb, Erased, Over, Out. It just awesome album. I had this on CD years and years and years and years ago, but to have it on vinyl, and it's a colored thing. I haven't even opened it yet because I don't want to open it because I want to save the sticker and put it on a jacket and all that. Finally, the last album, the last not even an album, the last vinyl I'm going to talk about is very nostalgic for me. As soon as I saw this thing at Monkey Feet Records in Oklahoma City, I snatched it up. I didn't even look at the price tag. I didn't care. I had to have this thing. This is the vinyl version from Europe, a vinyl pressing of Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit that actually still has the monkey feet stickers in it. But as soon as I saw this cover, I was just like, dude, I used to own this on cassette. It was one of the very first cassette singles I ever owned, and it's exactly as the cassette was. It's even in his youth, previously unreleased, Aneurysm, and Smells Like Teen Spirit, the radio edit on side one. Awesome thing to have. This is, of course, in the 10-inch box set, that has all the Nevermind singles in it. But to have this individual solo copy single on 12-inch vinyl is fucking amazing. I am so happy to own this. And the back looks kind of like the back of the cassette or the CD version of it. And yeah, this is definitely a prized possession in my collection. So very happy.
Cool. Yeah, I had that cassette as well. I love that even in his youth. It's a really cool
Mm-hmm.
song. And that version of Aneurysm was really cool too.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Yeah. Well, there you have it, folks. 98 episodes. 3 of them are me and Jeff just talking about the same shit that we've talked about before. We just don't remember.
Like I said, it's been 5 years of this podcast, dude. It's starting
Yeah.
to run together.
And we started this podcast 10 years ago. Uh, yeah.
1974.
We'll, we'll see what we got in the bag for the next 98, 99, and then 100. Jeez. That's some work we got to do here, Mr. G. All right. Well, Jeff passed out. I'm gonna stop the show for you folks who stopped watching already. Got anything to add, Bud?
I got nothing. I got
Thank
nothing.
you,
I'm
everybody, for
hungry.
watching. We will see you all next week.
Yep. All right. See you guys.
And the final thing they tell me,